Yo, what's good YouTube? I just wanted to go over early game Danjin guide since I've been playing with her a lot because she's like the only like 4-star aside from Takui that I've gotten that I've like actually wanted to use. So I've been using her a lot. I've leveled her. She's my second highest leveled character. So I just wanted to go over early game guide because obviously she's on the event banner for Jinyan, and it's like obviously a bunch of people are gonna pull for him and a bunch of people are gonna get her. Like for me, I've gotten only her and I've gotten 2 copies of her, so which I'm not bad about because she is a really good overall 4-star, but she is like a Farina type character where she consumes her own HP to deal more damage. She's also kind of, I guess more like a HuTao, I guess, not like Farina, HuTao, where it's like she has to stay below 60% HP. Like HuTao, I think it was 50 or 40%, for her it's 60 for her to do her increased maximum damage. So that's obviously why for like her best like synergies with her, or if you're gonna run her as a main DPS, or like shielders, and that's why I want to just go over her today. So yeah, let's get started. Let's start with her weapons. I legit have none. Like I have 2 of the 4-star swords and neither of these are like her best in slot weapons. Her best in slot is obviously going to be the 5-star sword, which is the Emerald of Genesis, which that's just the case for basically almost every character in this game. Is like once you get to that 5-star selector, you just pick whichever is your main character that you're using, just pick the weapon for them because it's just going to be their best in slot at this point in the game. But for her 4 stars, I will put a picture on the screen. It's the Looming Gloss 4-star sword and the Commander of Conviction 4-star sword. And then if you don't have those 3 like I don't, then you can run Sword of the Night. Like I leveled this one just to use for her, but if you don't have any of those, then her best 3-star weapon is Sword of the Night. And it's not bad, it's pretty good. It's definitely pretty good to use early game obviously, but don't obviously dump a bunch of resources into it. Like I have 3 extra copies that I'll probably maybe do in a second and just level that up even more. So yeah. And then next, her echoes. I said this before in my last guide for a Panda Girl, but once again, it's like Star Rail, where it's like whoever the character is, like for Panda Girl, she's wind damage and well, called arrow damage in this game. So you put the 5-piece arrow damage on the set. And it's the same thing for this character, where it's like she's in this game, I guess they call it havoc damage. So you put the havoc damage set on her, the 5-piece, which obviously, as you can see, I have here. Which, hold up, let me fix that. Okay, there we go. By the way, let me let y'all know this because I completely just forgot while putting this set on her, that you cannot put like these 2 right here. I had both of these on her right now, and it's like you cannot put both of these on her since they're the same type, and it just won't count towards your 5-piece set bonus. So make sure not to do that. But I have to make sure that once you get the 5 pieces, her best in slot is going to be the 5-piece Havoc Eclipse, because obviously it gives havoc damage, and then her basic attack and heavy attack gets damage bonus, which is obviously her main part of a kit that you're going to be spamming. So especially that heavy attack, which obviously, because once you get her bard leveled, once you're in combat long enough and you do enough of her skill moves, her bard goes high, and you can do a heavy attack and hold it, and it does like a kind of like a, like I want to say kind of like a Kaching ult, but it's not like a Kaching, like I don't know how to explain it. I'll show it in a second. I'll put gameplay right here. And yeah, it's just overall a very cool move. Like I will say, this is a character that just feels very nice. Maybe it's because I have E2 on her, I don't know, but she feels great, right? So yeah, like I said, that's why she's one of the best 4-stars in the game at the moment. Definitely worth building, especially in the early game if you get her. So yeah, but obviously if you don't have this set, you can run her second best in slot, which is this set, because attack is always just gonna be good. And then slap on that outro skill damage is like, why not? It's a really good set on her. Like if anything, if you have better substats, like, or main stats, like here I have havoc damage bonus. Like I haven't really looked at this set much, but like see I have double, like I might slap this set on her just because I have better main stats on this set, and maybe can get even better substats on this set. So if you don't have the other set, you have this set, it's like it's obviously a downgrade, but it's not like an insane war. It's like, at least in the early game especially, like just slap on whatever set you have. It's just at the end of the day it's gonna be worth it. And obviously if you don't have enough for get 5-piece for both, then you can obviously just run 2-piece attack havoc damage. So obviously just going to be good for a while. So yeah, and then her main stats that you should not worry about, but you should focus on are crit rate and crit damage obviously. And then how do I explain this? Like you see these cost here versus cost 3. Like these ones, like the highest cost one I think goes to 4 cost, though that you can only have one of those on your team because you can only fit one of them, because the cost goes up to I think 12. So you're going to be able to fit a 4, a 3, a 3, and a 1 and a 1. So you're gonna main one, that's the 4, is gonna be crit rate, crit damage, and then your 2 3s are gonna be havoc damage bonus, and then your other 2 1 cost at the bottom are going to be attack percent. And then for her substats, you need to focus crit rate, crit damage obviously, but then after that you need some attack percent, and if you can get in some heavy attack, it's also pretty good. And then next I want to go over her traces obviously. So yeah, for her traces, her main one to focus on is her skill, especially since this is going to be the main thing that you're using, because this is what fills up the gauge so you can pop your heavy attack that does her damage. But to fill up that gauge, you have to do so many skills that the damage is going to build up more than just your heavy attack damage, so it's just worth leveling this first. And then obviously after that, like I said, level up this, because this is where, like I said, when you do that heavy attack, it does all that damage and after you build up the gauge. So, and then obviously after that, you're gonna her ultimate's great. Obviously most characters, your third trace is most likely going to be the ultimate. It's just always gonna be worth leveling. And then her after that, her basic attack, because her basic attack is like, while you're spamming your skills, you can't just keep spamming your skills to get that gauge. You have to fit in some basic attacks in there, because your skill does have a small little cooldown in between them. So, and it just dishes out more damage to basic attack, skill as they show in the her training thing if you do it, her training simulation room if you do. So yeah, and then obviously last, her intro skill if you want to level. Like, this isn't really something you should focus on or waste a bunch of materials, at least for now. Obviously if you like build her for end game or like later down the line when you have extra materials, then yeah, sure, throw it in there. Like, why not? It's obviously gonna be worth getting the extra stuff like this. Which she obviously does also have her own like self heal with her forte circuit. This does heal her when you use it, so obviously that's good, but it's still always worth when it comes to using a character like this to still run a shielder or a healer obviously. Which leads me into going into her next thing, which is her synergies. She doesn't have very many. I'll put it up here, hold up. Her synergies, I just want to go over this because she doesn't have very many in the game at the moment so far. Like I said, her most important ones, because you're going to be running her as a DPS or a main DPS, so her most important ones to run her with are Tao Chi, because she's a tank, the main character, and then Verena, because she's a healer. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why I said Verena. Do not listen to that, because obviously you don't want to run her for a healer, because like I said earlier, she's like HuTao, so you don't want her to go over 60% HP, which if you're running with Verena, the best healer in the game, she's gonna stay at 100%, so there's no point. So don't listen to that part. I take that back. That might be on me. That might be my fault. Then it's like, outside of those 3, the rest of them, like, I'll name a few in a second, but like the rest of them aren't really, like, she doesn't work insanely with them. Like, she work, no, I'd kind of take that back. She works pretty good with Mortefi. Like, Mortefi is just, like I said, overall just the best 4-star in the game, like, not even a question. And she does work really good with him because he gives heavy attack. Like, that's what his best like support is that he does. And obviously, like I was saying earlier, her main thing is like, once you build up enough gauge, you do the heavy attack, which is her best part of her kit that does the most damage. So after that, like, if you want, you can probably run a team in the early game at least to get rid of the early stuff. If you pull Jian, Danjin, and Mortefi, like, that's not a bad team if you get that. You can also, I would say though, it's probably better to just run to someone else with Jian and Mortefi if you have those two, but it's still not bad. Once it gets the early game, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, that's all I really want to go over. Like I said, most people aren't gonna really get like copies of her, but if you do, like, they're all really good. So it's like, it's not like you should focus on trying to get C6 or E5 in this good. Like, you really shouldn't focus on trying to get C6, because obviously you're gonna just, unless you're like welling or something, you're just not going to get it. So it's not really that like important in this game. All her eidolons are really good. So yeah, that's really it. So yeah, I just want to go over her because I just been playing her a lot. Like I said, that's why I did her guide earlier, because I was playing her mostly, but then I started investing in her because I pulled her and I started getting copies of her. So yeah, she's just a lot of fun. She's really good. So yeah, let me know if y'all end up building her, and yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.